Thursday, coming up to Easter 2020, so it's the 9th of April. I'm in St Albans, Hertfordshire, England. There's something about the cello. This is the Bach first cello suite, played by Pau Casals, who is probably I think he's gone now, but the most beautiful exponent of this contemporary exponent. So, suffering, the suffering of Christ, who died to save us all, or so they say. Difficult to understand, that one human being, God's one and only Son, the Word made flesh, no less, a living human being, but God's Word incarnate, one human being, one, God's one and only Son, would come to this earth 2,000 years ago, to die for all our sins, on a cross, no less, nailed to a cross, but to rise again, that's the beauty, and live within us, as he lives within me now. Suffering for an adult, I am prepared to try to begin to explain why, curiously, as my mother used to say, philosophers envy those who suffer. So if one has the capacity and the insight to take on board whatever suffering life affords one and grow through overcoming it, then that is a blessing. The suffering of a small child or a baby, I still have no answer for. How can a loving God allow such a thing? So I cry, still. And there's very much of that in this world. Much of it occasioned by us lot, the human beings. Life is about joy too. There are many passages in the Bible, especially in the Psalms, and curiously I was in Rome some 10 years ago probably, or slightly less, at a Baptist church, and there was a Bible study, and it's Psalm 100, and it's just a short little psalm. And this phrase, to shout to the Lord, not to sing or play on the harp and the lyre, so there's quite a bit of that about. Sing praises to the Lord. But this question of shouting to the Lord, and we looked into that. And that expression occurs, or the use of that word. So there's something called a shofar, which is the ram's horn that is used in Jewish ceremonies to herald the coming of God, or I'm not sure I'm describing that entirely correctly, but something like that. Just the ram's horn. So actually, if one makes one today out of the ram's horn, it is essentially the same instrument that was used in biblical times, the shofar. It's got a very haunting sound. So for us lot, the human beings, we have this capacity clearly there's suffering in this world and has been throughout all history, but we have this wonderful capacity for joy. Right just now, of course, we're in this extraordinary unfolding story of a coronavirus, which is having effects upon the whole world, medical, financial, social, everything. It's just wiped everything off the agenda. It is right there in all of our faces. Not that you simply cannot ignore it. One little virus. Well, I just absolutely clearly see this as God at work. Whether this is a foretaste of the end times in our lifetimes or in the not too distant future, or whether the end times will happen in the coming centuries, one doesn't know. Christ was specifically clear about this. Only the Father knows the coming of the end times. It certainly should be a wake-up call. I don't like that phrase, but to all of us to be prepared for the coming of Christ now. Live today as though Christ might walk through your door now today. That you can hold up your thoughts and actions before Christ and say, I did my best. Amen.